everyone. This is Kathy Mason from MasonWorks Marketing here on Conscious Business Zone with my new friend and teacher, Aage. Hi, Aage. How are you? Oh, I'm so excited. So today, Aage is going to teach, well, hopefully we're going to have a discussion, and hopefully I'm going to be the student to learn about the success principles of not millionaires, but billionaires, and what exactly that means. Because if we're divine beings and we're connected to the unlimited aspect of ourselves, why not be connected to a billionaire, being a billionaire instead of a millionaire? Right, Aage?
Yeah,
Can you
it is good. I see that I'm buffering a little bit here. Did that look that way to you?
Yeah, I think we'll just
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Are you there?
Yes, I
So,
am. Gosh.
while he's figuring that out, I'll explain a lot. Honestly, you guys, Aage is a man of a million talents. He's taught classes called Subliminal Dynamics Mind Development courses, which is now called Zox Pro Training. He's had patents at the U.S. Patent Office. He's even been in political. Well, he's run for political office. He's written several books. He's a pilot, a teacher. He has a wonderful show called Broadcast Team Alpha that he does with Nori Love. And he actually grew up in Norway. And so he's got not only does he have like the humanist view of life of why not? I'll learn that and I'll do that. Not only does he have that, he has a worldview that's expanded compared to most Americans. So now we'll try this again, Aage. How
Yeah,
okay?
let's. I am buffering a little bit at this end, so I don't know if there is a problem here, but I'll just start talking and see what happens, I suppose.
Okay,
And
please do.
this is going to be a kind of a unique show because I haven't talked about how billionaires think for well over a year at least. And I would say for those of you out there that is in business or like to be in business, or if you just want to be better at what you do or have a more harmonious family, listening really close and take some notes. Because what works for the super wealthy people, their principles work for everybody. It's just that everybody doesn't know the principles. And a quick humorous question is how much would you pay to have a billionaire come and sit with you and help you design your future? Well, there is actually kind of a way to do that because there is a book that teaches you how to get in their mind and absorb their principles and everything that made them who they are. Of course, that is, you know, if somebody became a billionaire last week from their dad dying, and inherited everything, then he may not know all that much except for a few things here and there. But I know that in order to create wealth, it is not created with your hands. It's created with the mind, and the hands become the tools of the mind. And the tools of the mind is what actually also create a living. But you don't have to engage the mind much to create just a living. that's going to work and 9 to 5ing it and coming home, watching TV for an hour, and then falling to bed and just do the same thing next day again. So we will cover a lot of the habits and the mind technique of the super successful people. And it seems like sometimes they just create miracles out of seemingly nothing.
Mhm.
And how do they do that? Well, it's because they do not do like the masses are doing. They do not think like the masses do. And they do not act like the masses do. They are different people. Even if you're with them, the small talk is even different. And we got to remember that quantum mechanics has told us that we live in a mind created universe. And this mind created universe is not just your mind, it is also the universal mind that gets in the game with you and help you create for you if you do it right. And that is that you got to know how to connect to that universal mind. And that is done with a specific language. It is not a language of words, it is a language of emotion, intention, vivid, colorful images in your mind, and gratitude for already having it now, and the emotion and the feeling of love.
Perfect.
And when you reach the coexistence of the universal mind with things happen. They happen differently. I have a saying that if you if you think like the masses do, you're going to be like the masses are. If you do like the masses do, you are going to have what the masses have.
Wow.
So ask yourself, are you sure you want that? Of course, there may be people that is so broke that they'll be glad just to be like the masses are. But the masses of people usually have a little bit more ambition, at least wishes and wants, and they just don't have access to the principles of things that can create that for them. The If you start working with universal principles, the details will fall into place, and the details that the super successful people use are often very strange to the average person because they are unfamiliar. And you know how we think about unfamiliar thing, we just now wait a minute, you got to look at this for a while in order to accept it in, because whatever you do during your day, 95% of it is coming from memory and the comfort of your subconscious mind. So success itself is a very elusive animal. Everything in the universe starts in a mind. Your mind, your neighbor's mind, the universal mind that feeds it into. And I guess we are just on here for about an hour. So I'm going to start talking about some of these principles.
Okay.
And that is, first of all, there is such a thing as a billionaires club. Now, I am not the billionaire, but I am on first name with 3 billionaires, and I have had the chance to spend some considerable time with one of them, and I learned a lot, and that's why I wrote the book that I'm going to show you a little bit, because in there, the principles is what I'm talking about mostly, the principles and the mind techniques. And the Billionaires Club I'm talking about is that older billionaires usually take one man or a woman under their wing and teach them everything they know, usually in their lineage of trade. They don't talk about it to a lot of people because why? Most people don't do anything with it. But when they find somebody that is hungry and just want to do something, then they teach them basically everything they know, and that person could also develop into what they are. Super successful people, they know that there are two things that go to the bank. One of them is money, and the other one is goodwill.
Yes.
And they have equal value at different times. Think about that. Goodwill, that reaches into the heart, not just the brain, because in the heart there is also a brain. There is recently the science found that there is a brain in the heart that has anything from 40 to 75,000 neurons in it, and that is responsible for the emotional part of you that usually make decisions. And they also know that there is no such thing as a self-made man or a self-made woman. We all depend on and we need and rely on other people. Obviously, we need customers. If you are selling a product, you need customers, you need managers, you need a business structure. So they need to relate to the emotion of other people. That is very often done through goodwill. And be honest about things in contracts. Let's say that you have a contract and was presented to you something that you really want, but you just can't see how you can make money with it. Talk to the other person and say, look, I really want this, but my margin is such that I just can't do it. I can't make any money. But if you have anything else, I would love to hear from you. Be honest with them, tell them the truth. Next time they will come. Don't just tell them a no and leave it at that. This is a form of goodwill again. And then create a mastermind. A mastermind, that is something that when two or more minds are united in harmony, they create a third mind. That mind has the potential mind power of the two or more of them multiplied by each other.
Yeah.
And if, let's say, a mastermind can be 10 people getting together and brainstorming something, finding all the good things and things that works and don't work in a concept, and then implement it. Now, everybody should do a mastermind. Nori and I have put together that one that we do on Sundays, and we do amazing things with it. We bend the laws of physics when we create stuff. And every family should have a mastermind. What I mean is that get together on Sundays over dinner, talk about what do the family want? What do we want? How do we want it? When do we want it? Usually is now, because the universe works only in the concept of now. Because past, present, and future is all sitting there as potential for physical, mental, and spiritual creation. So if a family get together and have a family meeting, they do a little brainstorming to find out that this is what we want to do and this is how we want to do it. That family becomes a lot more successful and harmonious. And then it is important that you create an inner circle of people. Create an inner circle. those have to be people that you trust, totally trust, and have to be people of your own mindset or above. Not necessarily all the time. You can invite someone with specific knowledge into that inner circle for a purpose, or also in the mastermind group for a purpose, to pick their brain, get them to contribute to the concept you are working on, and then let them know that, I want you in here to help us create this, and then this is over. So then, when you have that mastermind, rely on their knowledge. Leave their personality alone. It has no relevance. It is the knowledge that they're bringing to the table that is important. And stay away from negative people like they were the plague. Come to think of it these days, that's probably how it is. um, yeah, okay, I'm not going to go down that road. But negative people will bring your vibration down. It will shut down the vibration of the mind, so it does not reach into the creative places that it normally would do. And it also creates resentments and all kinds of other things. If you have somebody come up with a negative comment in the middle of a meeting, jump right on top of it. And it says, now let's stay on concept here, stay on the path. Negative comments in the middle of a good brainstorming session can kill it all. So let people know beforehand. We're going to make note, we are recording it, and negative comments need to stay on the sideline. We have no use for them. The positive, that is all that we want. Even a negative issue can be brought out in a positive way, which may not hurt. These super successful people, they are constantly expanding their mind. They always are looking for new things to learn. They read. Remember, readers are leaders. I read every night, well, pretty much something of a positive nature before I go to sleep. And then when I go to sleep, I learned this from a billionaire. He says, I program my next day when I go to sleep the night before. He says, I think through what I'm going to do the next day. I see the successful outcome of it in my mind. He sees what he's first thing he's going to do when he get up in the morning. If there's trivial things like brushing your teeth, see it. It designs the timeline through the day. Think of what you're going to do first. Drive into work. If you're going somewhere, I've got an office at home. I don't really go anywhere. But think about all the things that you're going to do. In fact, last night, I thought through this presentation, a radio show. I went through it in my mind so that it should be set in a state that would relate to people. I know these facts are kind of boring sometimes, but they're not boring to successful oriented people. And those are the ones that will do something with it. There is a lot of people that'll hear this and they're going to say, yeah, that sounds like an excellent idea. Wow, I'm going to do that. And then don't. That's what I talk about. And this is a harsh language. That's the average people.
Aage, can I ask a quick question real quick?
Please.
So a lot of this, I love this, and I have your blog post, so I'm following right along with you. on this. It's fantastic. How does this differ from Think and Grow Rich? Or is it the expanded version of Think and Grow Rich? Napoleon Hill's book?
Well, this is one thing. There's two books out there that people that wants to create more good things in their life, they must read. Think and Grow Rich is one of them. It's written, it is absolutely relevant today.
Right.
Especially the one where he's down in the basement and he's in a brainstorming session with Abraham Lincoln and all these other people. He actually created the people around that table because he found out that Abraham Lincoln was always late to the meetings. And when he started to look into him, he found out Abraham Lincoln always was late to the meetings.
Oh.
How is that coincidence? So, no, you can create a reality in an imaginary setting in a brainstorming session with people of higher intellect and higher capacity of mind than you have. Bring their knowledge in. That book that's a millionaire maker.
Right.
I'm not sure it will reach into the billionaire makers.
Okay.
There is thousands of people out there that's written books about how to become a millionaire.
Right.
But I only know of one that'll get you in the game to give you the principles and the details and mind structural techniques of the billionaires. That's this one. Oh boy. Yeah. Universal Success Principles and How Billionaires Think.
Perfect.
I'll tell you in a little bit where you actually, I might as well do it now in case I have problems here. There is another catalog. This book can only be gotten one or two, so you can get it from me. And also here in this catalog called Tools for Freedom. Go to the website toolsforfreedom.com and you'll find the book on page 39. It is order number 9085. And you can get it from them. I have not put it out there everywhere because I want to support these people because they got such a phenomenal catalog and product for freedom-oriented people that wants to become successful at absolutely anything. This catalog is a must. There is thousands of products in there that will make your life better.
I can't wait to get mine.
That's my ad.
Okay, so I want us to go back to your list again, but I wanted to ask also because I know you learned hypnosis as when you were young, and do you still use hypnosis to keep you motivated and focused? Because right now people are having so much trouble staying focused. There's just so many distractions. Do you do a special practice besides to
Yes,
get so centered?
Yep, I do two things basically, and that is self-hypnosis.
Okay.
And it's simple to learn. Everybody should do that. I use self-hypnosis and habit, repetitious habit. And that means every night I plan my next day. And I visualize into existence the next day. Mm-hmm. And I use self-hypnosis. People say that they have problem falling asleep at night. That's simple. I count to 10 and I'm gone. That's simple enough. And this is something that you, on the mastermind, actually, if you go to Broadcast Team Alpha and in the under classes, I have a class on self-hypnosis, which is available through the mastermind. And for mastermind members, you can go in there and there's classes on self-hypnosis, meditation, psychic abilities, astral travel, and how billionaires think.
Well, I love I went all over your site, and I know that's why I think we're going to have more than one conversation. But today, I thought that honestly, to start, and you suggested this, that people are worried about the finances, and they don't realize that you are the finance. You,
Okay.
it's not outside; it's here. It's this device, right?
Yeah. Everything starts in the mind, and what you see around you is part of the mind because there's quantum mechanics is telling us that we live in a mind created universe. What does that mean? That means that your mind created everything around you. In other words, it may not even be real. It is a mind created conception of reality or creation as you have accepted into your life as being real. There's actually quantum mechanics explain how that is because we are in a computer simulation. And guess what? We are the projector of that computer simulation. And super successful people, they use this to their advantage because they know that if it is mind created, we can change it because we have a mind and we can reach into the universal mind and draw things to us that we allow to be in our existence. Let me let me spend about a minute and tell you how you can change your life. You can reach into the quantum existence of the universal mind, find something and bring it back. Now there's a way to do that. You let me tell you what I do. I sit down, I go into meditation. For the Christians out there that is scared of meditation, get over it. The Bible says, be still. That means don't just sit still and not move your hands and your feet. No, it means your mind goes still and think of something that you want more than anything in your life. And then visualize it. Feel it. Feel yourself being around it, being in it, using it, doing it. See yourself with other people that is enjoying it with you. And then create vivid, colorful images of the surroundings and everything about it that you can think of. Get into detail with it and love it. Feel the gratitude for having it right now. And then know that you have created it in your mind. Because you have done that, you placed it in the universal mind, which is a permanent record of what you think. It is all there. If somebody else have thought of something very similar, you will kind of marry yours with that one, and you can now start pulling it back. Tell yourself, I am having it now. Because out there is only now. There are present moments stashed behind one after the other one that creates the linear time. But there is only present moment. And you bring that present moment into here. And now, if you do that every day, you are speaking the universal language. Because that's not one of words. This is the universal language. When you start doing that and then do whatever you can on top of that to help make it happen, things change. And this is what Napoleon Hill talked a little bit about that, but that is very, very, very simply explained in here. And I got another book where I get deeply into it, and that is the book about spiritual science. I explain how you can do this. I explain how you can actually explain a lot of things in there, how you can astral travel and you can go places and see things and do things, as well as it's how you actually can do time travel. But for the successful people, they do these things every day. Meditate every day. And I got a saying, and that is that everybody should meditate 20 minutes a day. If you don't have time to do that, you need to meditate an hour. I do small meditations also, like 3 minutes. I sit sometime, close my mind down for 3 minutes, and then I go back to what I'm doing. The reason for the 3 minutes is that you're exercising the funnel or the path from the conscious mind into the subconscious mind, through the superconscious mind into the universal mind. You're exercising the channel all the time, and that is important to get things done.
Okay, so I have another question for you then. So,
Yeah,
so um, I've read a lot of Neville Goddard and Florence Scovel Shinn, and in Neville Goddard, there's a thing called the assumptions, where you visualize, just like you're explaining, where you taste it, feel it, love it, experience it, and then you assume it's on its way. You don't keep worrying about it. You don't. It's like a law of attraction thing. You let
yep,
it go. How do you have recommendations of how people can let it go? Because that seems to be, there's so much fear. You almost are erasing your work if you keep worrying about it, if you're not just assuming it is on its way.
absolutely. That assumption that you talk about goes back to intention. You intend for it to be here. There is no buts about it. It's going to be here. In fact, it is here now that I just haven't been able to put it into existence yet. Now, there is another one, and that is that we got to think big. And this is an important question I want people to think about. And that I'm going to ask the question so everybody can think about it. What would you start tomorrow morning if you knew you could not fail?
Yeah.
Now, think about that. I want you to think about all kinds of things that you want to start tomorrow morning if you could not fail, but don't settle on anything for at least 24 hours, because I guarantee you, you don't know how to think big enough. And do that. Now it's here in Mountain Time. It is 10:40 right now. Figure that out over to your time zone tomorrow. Have something thought of by 10:40 Mountain Time. Decide on something, and then join our mastermind session, and we will show you how you can actually do it. But the another thing that I wanted to mention in what I said before, create this bubble of conceptual things that you want and place it in the future. Let's say at a time coded event like a Christmas party, birthday party, something like that. See yourself standing around with friends, posting the success of what you have been wanting.
Wonderful.
Now you are, but by doing that, you place it out there. Now go back and visit it every day. Now you create a timeline up to that thing you placed in the future. That's a different way of doing it. You can see it now, or you can place it in the future. And I think placing it in the future is just as good, because You feel you have it every time that you go visit it. When you do that, that timeline gets stronger and stronger, and it will bring you to it. So when the linear time catches up, you could just walk into it.
Perfect.
That happens for people. We got
So,
quite
so
a
I
few.
want to, oops, I'm sorry. Want to ask
No.
also about affirmations.
Hmm.
Because, okay, so first we're doing what I'm understanding, because I'm your student here, Professor, and I want to make sure that the first part is me visualizing and making it real of either tomorrow morning or tonight when I go to sleep, what tomorrow is going to look like, or further, if it's a bigger, our assignment tonight is to work on a big desire. So but do I do affirmations also to bring that in? How does that all work? Because that's where your mind, if you say I'm a millionaire, I'm a billionaire, and you're barely able to pay your bills, doesn't your logical mind shut all of that off right away?
Yep. The logical mind is a lot
Yeah.
of time your worst enemy. But you say affirmations, they are very good. If there's words only, then it's basically worthless. You got to have all five senses involved in it. And
Okay.
that could be the words, that's one thing, but you also got to see it. You got to feel it. It almost like you got to smell it. When you are standing around in a brand new house that you have thought into existence, let's say 6 months from now, smell it. Or a new car. I tell you, there's nothing like new car smells. You know that?
Yeah. That might be something I'm going to work on.
Yeah.
Car.
And but do it right. Involve all the things that I talk about, the vivid, colorful images and gratitude and all these things. Involve that in your affirmation. I have my affirmation on the computer here as stickers. Look ugly, but they're there for me. I don't care what other people think. Here, okay, I'm going to show you something. I uh, I have a check. Oh boy, that
They're
doesn't work too
almost
well.
Wells Fargo.
Yeah, this is a $200 million check.
Wow.
I'm gonna cash that one day. I have that is one of my things that I'm looking at every day. I have it out on the lampshade, and it is there in front of me every day. Whenever I'm in front of the computer, it's there staring at me. And I visualize this thing in. I have reset the date for it or the occasion for it once because it didn't arrive yet. But I'm working on that and it's going to be there because that is what I need in order to do one of the projects that I need to do.
Well, that's what Jim Carrey, the actor, talks about, is
Yep.
that he wrote himself a check and put it in his wallet. And it did come the exact amount, and everything came in a certain, I don't know, it was 3 years. It wasn't that long of a time period.
Yep.
So we know that works. So I have a little post-it note that I've got right by here. It's not a check like that, but it says, "What would a billionaire do?" And it's my little reminder of when I'm thinking about what I'm doing rather than reducing it. So how do you go from not being a billionaire to assuming what they're what they would be like? They read well, they read a lot, they're always around other people that are it's a game for them rather than a stressful environment. What other things could you say are part of the billionaire psyche?
Yeah, and first of all, you got to have fun with it.
Okay.
Have fun because life should be fun. And remember the saying, find something you love to do, and you'll never work a
Yep.
day in your life.
Yep.
I have pretty much done that,
Me too.
except for a couple of small things. But when I was flying, it was fun. Flying through freezing rain and thunderstorms wasn't all that fun, but that didn't happen all that often. But when you have fun with something, it helps you reach into the quantum existence to bring things to you that is more fun. And that's where it comes in. Study successful people. Get in their mind. Read their books, watch their videos, read their speeches. Feel yourself with them. Put them in a chair in front of you. Imagine them there and then talk to them. Wait for their answers. You'll be amazed what can happen after a while.
Yeah.
But people don't normally do that.
No. No.
So it is to your mind to reach into other people's mind to bring stuff to you so you can create your existence.
I see. Well, it's in the divine mind, so it is accessible if you imagine it, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, I
Yeah.
have a friend that does readings that it's called Tea with Me. I forget what it's called, but he schedules out your astrology of when you were born, and then finds all
Mhm.
the famous people that died on the day you were born that your psyche would have passed as you were embodying. And then he has it set up so you can have tea with them. So if one's a great writer, you can sit and make yourself a little time period to have tea with this famous writer. And he gave me like five of the people. And it was fascinating because it must be all aspects of all of us. So let's say, so I just used a writer, but it could be a pilot or could be any skill that you want to learn, right?
Yeah, and that could be done, and that's what Norman, what excuse me, what Think and Grow Rich, the book, talk about when he went down into the basement and set up that mastermind. He had half of them were dead people that he brought into this mastermind. And we did in our mastermind session, we created a mastermind also. We had Archangel Michael on the mastermind.
Oh, cool.
Those kind of entities, you can bring them in and they can bring things to the table. Brilliant ideas that come in through someone that, oh, they just got the idea. They don't know where it came from, but there's a brilliant idea that is brought out that you record and later on you can do something with it.
That's cool. So I think the future of business is team like this, like a mastermind. But
Yep.
how do you see a leader, a billionaire leader, uh, participating in team as the new model? Or do you?
How I did you say alien leader?
No,
What did you call it?
I said, how do you see that? I see team as the new model, team, a circle rather than a pyramid for the new model of business going forward. And so here, once you have, even in a mastermind, how do you see the circle? Because I haven't gotten to participate in your mastermind. How do you see that working so everyone's input is really important?
Okay. Let me put it this way. This is going to be more and more common because the wealthy people are doing it. Large corporations, they're doing it. Football teams, they are doing it. Basketball teams are doing it. It just hasn't kind of dribbled down to the masses yet because the football game is too important to watch, not just participate. And you're still selling beer, and pretzels, and that is important. So I'm really harsh here, but that's how it is for a lot of people. Those things are more important than actually planning your life. So we got to change our mindset.
Mm.
And it's a very simple thing to do. Action cures fear. In other words, start doing some of these things in several days in a row. And then it becomes more familiar to the subconscious mind, which creates a subconscious mind program from it, which brings it up to you every so often. And then it'll be easier to do it every day. It takes 21 days to change a habit. If you use self-hypnosis or other hypnosis, then you can do it in one day sometimes. So spend a little time planning your life out. Put the success principles in it. And I have probably about 40 different other points of really important stuff that the billionaires are doing, which you will find in the book. And if you read this book, read it at least 3 times, because then you will not only have seen it, you will know it, and you will know what to do with it. Because the first time you read it, you're going to look at it and say, yeah, that was interesting. Second time, that's brilliant. I missed that on the first time. The third time you read it, now you're going to know that I'm going to do this. Those that read it 3 times, they will become leaders in wherever they are, because they claim it, because it is simple to do. I didn't say easy, it's simple, because there's a little bit of effort on your part. That's why it's not easy.
I see. And since you're an expert on time also, which I'm fascinated with time, I first was introduced to being out of time by grandmother Patricia, who's a Cherokee elder, and we sat in circle, and I have no idea where we were. um, um, is time speeding up right now, or is it just feel like time is speeding up right now? Because for us to, so the reason I'm asking this is the perfect time for people to buy your book, get into your mastermind, and start 2023, because during changing times, that's when the most millionaires and billionaires are made, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what about time? What about that other aspect that's happening right now?
Well, if we're not totally happy with our life at all, if we got a miserable situation, we can't create a new timeline. And there are several ways to do that. And I talked about it the lecture I did 2 days ago. And also I explained how to do that in this book, Spiritual Science, Higher Conscious Thinking, and How to Access the Universal Consciousness. It is really fairly simple, actually, in one way of it. All you have to do is to make a major different decision, totally out of character for you, and going in a different direction, start doing different things, maybe a new career, a new life in different direction. That creates a new timeline, and you will be in that timeline. Now, quantum mechanics is divided on this. Some say that the old timeline collapses because your mind is not in it to fuel it. Others say that the old timeline continues also, which I think now is happening. So we end up being in a lot of different timelines. In the back of this book, I show you spiritual science, higher conscious thinking, and how to access the universe. I teach people how to do this type of time travel, where you can go into the future and you can see things and experience things. In fact, Nori Love is a hypnotist, and she does something really, really, really unique. I've never seen anybody else do. She puts them into a hypnotic state, take them forward, let's say 5 years, to meet themselves, get advice from themselves. What would you do? What would you hear give yourself advice on doing 5 years from now? Is what's asking yourself 5 years from now, what should I do to avoid and have a good path 5 years into the future? So that is something that needs to be experienced for people.
Wow. But is time speeding up, or is that just an illusion?
I think it is speeding up, because I think most people right now, if you think back 10, 20 years, it feels like you can't get as much done anymore. For me now, I get up in the morning and I brew a cup of coffee, and bingo, it's noon.
That's a long, tall cup of coffee.
That's a long cup of coffee.
So Augie, I mean, you're very optimistic about humanity and how we're evolving, but you're basically, at least what I'm understanding, is that we have the potential to get so much more out of life by being more disciplined,
Yep.
by choosing to feed our whole system with good books, good movies, good information, and then plan our lives. I do marketing plans as a big part of my business, and I'm in the same boat. I'm just always amazed that people haven't decided. And then once they get clear, all of a sudden everything just sort of starts to come in. It's amazing what clarity can do.
Hmm.
But I am. It does feel like everything's like fast, 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 fast. And I just wondered if that was an illusion, or do you find that it's fast and then slow, and then fast and then slow?
I don't know about fasting and slower, but if the time is speeding up, that means that we also have to act faster and conduct our business in a same fashion, which maybe makes it a little more hectic. And that is okay,
Yeah.
because if we follow, we can actually get more done in the shorter amount of what I would call time, because
Right.
time is an illusion, but we create the time. Because when I had that universal download, time was explained to me, and it time is set up is present moment. You got a present moment here, and then within a very split second, it collapses. The field collapses to nothing, moves over a little bit, comes back up, recreates itself in a present moment, and then the field collapses and recreates itself. The field collapses. So there is thousands and or millions or billions of present moments stacked after in each other. So when we go through that, we go so fast it appears to be one continuous movie. and you are the star actor in it.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Yes. And I love that idea, and I love the idea of being being an alchemist. That's what I call myself, because I feel like there is that once you decide, and then you can pull the energy out of the present moment and place it somewhere and activate things. So like the cover of your book, and there's all sorts of ways to put that energy somewhere so it attracts people. It
Yeah,
attracts the right people.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 Once you read this book on the universal
Success.
success principle, you can implement some of that. And everybody out there, if you get your hands on it, you can implement these things. And I have, it's been out for a while, and I get emails from people say, I used the principles and now I am in business and I am flourishing. I get all kinds of different emails from people and texts. Some call me. My phone number is out there. Everybody can find it. So they call, and I never talked to the person before, and they thank me.
Oh, wonderful.
So yeah, so there is stuff in there that you won't find anywhere else because it was told to me by a billionaire sitting 4 feet away from me on the couch. That's the kind of stuff that you find in there.
Right, right. Well, and a lot of this is relationships. It's
Yeah,
relationship with yourself and relationships with others. And in my experience, that's how business should be done, is by honoring relationships. And whether
yes,
it's a billionaire or a millionaire, or just even anyone helping you work, the
absolutely.
right.
Yeah, that's very important because that supports your reputation. And your reputation always stays about 2 miles ahead of you. Whatever you do, when you get 2 miles down the road, people know about it. So it's,
Right,
well, joking about that, but it's kind of how they work. Once you crack your reputation, it will always be cracked.
right, right. Well, people won't remember what you said, but they'll
Yep.
remember how you made them feel. And
There. Yep. That's the heart.
that's right. That's right. So
And
again,
that,
I want to ask about being optimistic. I'm optimistic. I know that all the news and a lot of the newspapers and a lot of the media is really saying we're living in the worst times we've ever lived, and all of this stuff. But I'm seeing people showing up and doing their life's mission and starting to share their genius, share their gifts like never before. Since the lockdown, people finally got their stuff online, or they've been coming to me to try to get their stuff online. And I'm just seeing this potential of a renaissance. How do you see what's happening?
well, first of all, what's happening is not all that important. It's where we are going that is important. And I am not worried about the future. There's going to be a little strange things that is happening between now and Christmas or New Year's. But the future is going to be all right. The cabal is going to collapse
Yeah.
and it's going to be okay. And I've had a look at some of these things in the future, and that I teach people how to do that type of time travel and how to look at things in the future, as well as maybe other parallel universes as well.
Uh-huh.
And I know it sounds ridiculous, but quantum mechanics is actually explaining how this is done. And if you look in the book, you can learn how to do that, as well as creating your future the way you want it to be, so you can live it before you actually have to. You experience it before you have to live it. And be careful with your words and what you say. There's a saying out there: watch your thoughts because they become your words. Watch your words because they become your action. Watch your action because they become your habits. Watch your habits because that become your character. Watch your character because that becomes your destiny.
Perfect. Perfect. Oh, that was the perfect roundabout way to end our beautiful talk. Thank you so much. I can't wait to read your books and go to your mastermind and take your classes, because the thing is you're making things very accessible to everyone. These books aren't
Yeah.
expensive. Why not read that instead of all the other stuff that's being
Yeah.
creates you nightmares. So
But
there's, yeah.
what I'm telling people is that if you read this book, read it 3 times because it's written on several levels of consciousness.
Oh,
If you
wow.
read it 3 times, call me, because then we need to talk because you're ready for stage 2. Because in here, I teach people how to use their mind in ways they normally would think would be impossible.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Augie. How's the best way for people to get a hold of you? And I want to make sure people know that Broadcast Team Alpha is a live show like this once a week, and
Yep.
they always have incredible interviews, incredible guests. It's brilliant. So I want to make sure
Yeah.
people know about that.
If people want to be part of our mastermind and start creating some really incredible things for themselves, send us an email to themastermindconnection@gmail.com.
Okay.
Themastermindconnection@gmail.com, and I'll get you some information, and I will get you a link so you can come and participate and observe and participate in the sessions so you can start visualizing things into existence for yourself also, maybe up and beyond what you have now.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I'll put that in the text so everyone will
Yeah.
have it. And again, it is Broadcast Team
Broad,
Alpha.
yeah, on YouTube, Broadcast Team Alpha, or in the website, broadcastteamalpha.com. There's a contact session that you can contact me also through there, or I don't mind if you even
Uh,
call me.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, thank you, everyone, and please share this. This is the good news that is available for everyone. We are such powerful beings, and we need to remember. Please remember that you can create miracles in your life and in the world. So, thank you very much, Augie. Well, I hope to talk again soon. Thank you. And I
Yeah,
do feel like you're a wonderful teacher. Thank you.
yeah, we can do that. And in the words of Spock, live long and prosper.
Live long, live long and prosper.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye
Thank you.
bye.
We'll do this again.